This is my prime example of people that's puppet masters trying to control the narrative.
That we are awaiting Mayor Henyard to arrive.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and the supervisor of neighboring Thornton Township, has found herself at the center of an unfolding political drama that could easily rival the intensity of any political thriller. Her administration has been rocked by explosive allegations, including accusations of financial mismanagement, using her position for personal gain, and allegedly rewarding loyal supporters while punishing those who oppose her. As public scrutiny grows and calls for her resignation intensify, Henyard has remained defiant, refusing to step down from her position of power despite the growing controversy. Henyard has struggled to maintain control over Dalton and Thornton Township, which have become embroiled in a captivating political saga. Critics of Henyard argue that she has manipulated local government for personal gain, further damaging public's confidence in her leadership. Many are questioning whether she ever truly cared about the interests of the community, or if she was more focused on securing her own power. There have been numerous investigations into her actions, but even as the pressure mounts, Henyard has resolutely refused to yield to the calls for her resignation. In fact, rather than stepping back, Henyard has doubled down on her approach, making bold political moves that have only served to escalate tensions within the community. Her dealings with local businesses have raised red flags, and her tendency to use executive orders to silence political opponents has only intensified the controversy surrounding her administration. Dalton is now a town in turmoil, struggling under the weight of Henyard's divisive leadership. One of the key flashpoints in this ongoing drama occurred during the most recent Democratic caucus, where the political struggle took a sharp turn. For the first time in 30 years, the Democratic Party in Thornton Township decided to use a caucus instead of a primary to select candidates. This shift, while procedural in nature, quickly escalated into a full-scale political dispute that would have lasting ramifications. Henyard, desperate to secure a spot on the ballot for re-election, faced a major obstacle when it was revealed that her list of candidates lacked a certified assessor, a key requirement for a legitimate nomination. This oversight exposed her vulnerability, and it was a moment that would prove to be her undoing. Seizing the opportunity, a powerful Democratic committeeman, P. Harris, quickly put forth a full slate of candidates to challenge Henyard. His organizational prowess and political savvy made him a formidable opponent. Harris's swift response to the situation left Henyard sidelined, unable to secure the nomination and facing a humiliating loss in a nationally publicized defeat. Harris, a seasoned political player, positioned himself as a stabilizing alternative to Henyard's increasingly unstable leadership. This loss in the caucus, while a significant blow to Henyard's campaign, did not signal the end of her political ambitions. Known for her tenacity, Henyard immediately stormed out of the caucus in a fit of fury. She accused Harris and his supporters of sabotaging her re-election bid by manipulating the process. Her supporters echoed her outrage, claiming that Harris had rigged the caucus by allowing his backers to enter the venue first, effectively shutting out many of Henyard's own supporters. Henyard refused to accept the results, calling Harris a coward and threatening legal action. In her mind, she was the rightful leader, and no political setback would stop her from claiming victory. The tension in Thornton Township reached new heights, as Henyard's refusal to accept the outcome only fueled further division within the local Democratic Party. What was meant to be a routine political event had turned into a fierce struggle for control, with both sides accusing each other of underhanded tactics and power plays. As the drama unfolded, Henyard's defiance and refusal to back down became a central theme. Her supporters rallied around her, but the broader community remained divided, unsure whether Henyard's relentless fight for power was a sign of strength or a desperate attempt to hold on to a position that was increasingly slipping away. The aftermath of the caucus debacle, further revelations about Henyard's leadership style and financial dealings came to light. The most startling revelation was that Henyard had allegedly used township credit cards to fund extravagant trips, shopping sprees, and other questionable expenditures. One particularly eye-popping disclosure revealed that Henyard had spent an astounding $43,000 on Amazon in a single day. These revelations sparked outrage among residents and political opponents alike, with many questioning whether Henyard's priorities were truly in line with the best interests of Dalton and Thornton Township. As public confidence in her leadership continued to erode, Henyard's political rivals seized the opportunity to challenge her and expose her shortcomings. The loss of the caucus to Harris and his slate of candidates was a glaring sign that the political tide was turning against her. The once dominant political figure found herself fighting for her political life as her grip on power appeared to weaken with each passing day. Despite the growing legal challenges and mounting public criticism, Henyard showed no signs of giving up. Tiffany Henyard continued to insist that she was the legitimate leader of Dalton and Thornton Township, and that her opponents were simply trying to destroy her career. Henyard's unflinching determination and refusal to take responsibility for her actions only served to deepen the divide within the community. With lawsuits and investigations looming, Henyard's defiant stance seemed to serve as both a strength and a liability, as it fueled further polarization and conflict. For many, her behavior reinforced the perception that she had become a puppet master, manipulating the political landscape to suit her own needs. Allegations of corruption and self-serving decisions only served to fuel the narrative that she was more concerned with maintaining her own power than with the well-being of the community she was supposed to serve. The political drama surrounding her reign had reached a fever pitch, and the future of Dalton and Thornton Township appeared to hang in the balance. Despite the growing uncertainty, Henyard's political career was far from over. Her supporters remained fiercely loyal, continuing to rally around her and push back against the growing opposition. The question, however, remained: would she be able to weather the storm of controversy and legal challenges, or had the weight of her actions finally caught up with her? The political landscape in Dalton and Thornton Township was shifting, and it was unclear whether Henyard would be able to reclaim her position or whether this would mark the beginning of the end of her scandal-plagued career. As the political struggle continued to unfold, one thing was clear: Henyard's story was far from over. The community remained divided, and the power dynamics that once seemed unassailable were now in flux. Only time would tell whether Henyard could navigate the mounting opposition and legal scrutiny, or whether the political forces arrayed against her would finally bring her down. What was once a political stronghold had now become a battleground, and the stakes had never been higher. Henyard's defiant words at the caucus, in which she insisted that she would emerge victorious, served as a reminder of her unyielding ambition. However, as the drama continued to unfold, the question remained: could she continue to dominate the narrative, or was her time in power coming to an end? The political environment in Dalton and Thornton Township had been irrevocably changed, and only time would tell how this high-stakes political struggle would ultimately play out. The political storm surrounding Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and supervisor of nearby Thornton Township, continues to escalate, overshadowing the community's once hopeful view of her leadership. What began as a local governance issue has morphed into a full-blown crisis marked by allegations of financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and a relentless pursuit of personal gain. Despite mounting calls for her resignation and increasing scrutiny, Henyard has refused to step down, further entrenching herself in the political chaos she has cultivated. One of the most damning reports came from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's audit of Dalton's finances, which painted a grim picture of the Henyard administration. However, these allegations of corruption and power abuse were just the tip of the iceberg. Perhaps one of the most blatant instances of her political retaliation occurred when Henyard's administration issued over $2,000 in fines to the Dalton Park District for basic maintenance tasks such as spreading mulch and installing playground equipment. The Park District President, Silly Jones, rebuked these citations, accusing Henyard of meddling in an independent government agency's affairs. This was not just about petty fines. Henyard allegedly blocked over $500,000 in grants intended for park improvements, which would have greatly benefited the community by providing children with safe and clean recreational spaces. Henyard's interference with the Park District's operations exemplifies a broader pattern of governance marked by a willingness to use her political power to punish anyone who dares to oppose her. This has led to widespread frustration among residents who feel that the mayor's actions are causing unnecessary harm to their community. Initially, Dalton's residents had hoped Henyard would provide effective leadership, but instead, they now find themselves caught in an unrelenting cycle of scandals and political drama. Henyard's reign took a dramatic turn when she was abruptly dismissed as a Democratic candidate for Thornton Township supervisor, a move that shocked her supporters and served as a powerful signal of resistance to her increasingly authoritarian leadership. This was not just a procedural setback, but a direct consequence of years of allegations of mismanagement and a leadership style that many have described as vindictive. Henyard's removal from the ballot underscored the growing resistance to her hold on power and marked a pivotal moment in her political career. In the face of mounting opposition, Henyard's response has been to lash out at her critics. She has often portrayed herself as a victim of political attacks, blaming others for her failures rather than taking responsibility for the missteps of her administration. This was made clear in a recent public statement in which she declared, "That is just me telling you a little bit because all this pointing the finger at Tiffany or lying on me, I am over it now. It is time for me to speak."